What do you think about the Berkshire Hathaway cash position? This is a good question. If you guys don't know, Berkshire Hathaway, aka Warren Buffett's investment company, is currently sitting on the biggest pile of cash it's ever had. A couple schools of thought on this. The first and most obvious is that he thinks stocks are overvalued, that generally everything's a little too pricey right now, too expensive. So he's sitting on cash, waiting for some sort of downturn so they can scoop it all up. That's the one school of thought, okay? The other school of thought is that he is fucking old. He's like 95 or 98. He's fucking old, right? He's just insanely fucking old and will die soon. And the idea is that this would make it easier on his successor so that they would not have to unwind positions that he was part of. He's 94, I'm sorry. That would be the counter argument that says, no, don't worry, Warren doesn't see anything wrong with the market. I would say one of the best ways to get why I might lean more towards the first answer than the second. Well, there's a stock market indicator, okay, that takes the entire stock market value and then divides it by the GDP of the country. And the number that outputs is a good way of tracking possibly how overvalued the stock market is. And that is at all-time highs. And the reason I bring this up, sorry, I need a better graph. The reason I bring this up is because that indicator is called the Warren Buffett indicator. He invented it. It's how he determines how overvalued thing is. I think possibly he's just looking at his own indicator and thinks things are a little overvalued, but we'll see. He said in a letter because he thought Harris was going to win and capital gains tax is going to go. Yeah, I heard that theory as well. And I want to push back on it a little bit by explaining that if you read his letters, the same letters around previous recessions, he also said similar things. In fact, there is a letter where he said in 2007 that he doesn't expect the housing market problem to hit the broader economy. So he's not necessarily either, if he does predict, because his track record is good, but his words have never caused panic before. He will never say anything that will cause or imply that there's future trouble. Never. I mean, in none of his letters is he like, we're headed into a bad time. He never does that. He never says that. So I would just say, I wouldn't take what he's saying at face value. Hey, Truck, I saw a few big brain people use the insane odds on Kamala winning as a hedge to make like $1 million upside bets on things like Bitcoin and Tesla stock with only like 10K downlines if Kamala wins. Can you explain this bit? Pretty smart. Yeah, I saw this as well. It's, like all great stock market bets that sound infallible, it was very fallible. I'll explain what happened. Okay, so these guys thought of things that would go to the moon if Trump won, right? Like Tesla, like Doge, okay, whatever. And they bet a lot of money on those things. And then as a hedge, they also bet on Kamala to win the election, okay? So they were kind of protected from downside. That was the idea. And it sounds like a perfect plan, except there's a world where Kamala wins and Tesla goes down and you've lost both bets. Or you know what I'm saying? Or sorry, where Trump wins and Tesla doesn't moon. Exactly. Or Kamala wins and the loss on your options bet is not, as outweighed by the loss on the amount you made on Kamala. It's not perfect, but it did work in this case. And they made a bunch of money on Tesla and much money on Doge. But the real cool thing, honestly, the real cool thing, I don't think I have this in Marketing Monday, so I'll just talk about it right now. This was actually one of the more interesting stories of the election, okay? So, Donnie T, there's still a 0.1% chance Kamala Harris can win. Get your bets in! Holy moly, the payout could be incredible if we start to steal. So obviously, these predictor websites like Kalshi and Polymarket ended up being fairly accurate predictors of how the election actually went. And people looked into the people that won the most money on here. And one of the more interesting ones, like the number one most successful trader on Polymarket, was a French guy. And there was a French guy who didn't care who won the election, but he just wanted to make money. And so he noticed something on the polls, because the polls were all like 50-50 until the day of the election. He noticed that when you asked people who they were voting for, people would say at around 50-50 rate, Harris or Trump. But when you asked them who they thought their neighbors were voting for, they said 65%, 70%, they said Trump. It was a way higher rate. The question was an issue. So it turns out that the neighbor question was the greatest indicator of what people actually believed. People, revealed preferences. And that's interesting because I noticed that, in market research back at some of the companies I work for, is like people lie all the time. Every time people lie about everything. People always lie. Even to themselves. They never answer honestly about their preferences. And designing the questions in a way where they could answer more honestly is interesting. So anyway, this French guy, he notices that these polls are like, when you ask the neighbor question, are indicating a Trump win, pretty commanding one. So he takes $40 million and bets on Trump to win, no hedge. He just put it all in based on that poll data and made a fuck ton of money. Kind of unreal. It's pretty crazy. Probably the only cool Frenchman I've ever heard. Was it Ludwig? No, I said cool Frenchman. What about XQC? XQC did not make the same bet, I'll be honest with you. XQC did not make the same bet. He had 40 mil to bet. Well, my understanding, I think it might have been like leveraged. It might have been borrowed, or it might have been, I'm not sure, he just had a cool 40 million sitting around. Shadow's Blessing, thank you for the 15 months. Been watching for a while, and I've really appreciated all the union coverage, especially as a part of the UAW. Salute to the union brother in chat, Shadow's Blessing. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a good time. I don't have this chart. We have 25 minutes. I can talk about random interesting things. I have an interesting chart that I would love to share with you. I hope I can find it very quickly. You know what? I'll just draw it for you. And I promise you it is accurate. I promise you I know the stats here, but I'm not going to be able to find this chart. So it's going to be like this, okay? And it's going to be wage gains for American workers. Okay, and it's like this, maybe a little bit up, right? And then there's wage gains for American workers in unions. And it's like, there's like an 8% gap. Very recently, American workers in unions have been getting, you can't see, I covered it with my noggin. American workers in unions have a wider and wider gap over their non-union peers, which is proof that it works. I'll see if I can find the chart while we talk. But what else is going on? Does the white line include people in unions? No, it would be all non-union workers. I'm getting mogged by union members. Frankly, yes. I'm not trying to make you participate in a mogging that you didn't want to be part of, but yes, frankly, yes. Ishar, what should I invest in? I got to be honest with you. There's only one thing worth investing in this environment, and that is D-O-G-E, Doge! Back on top, baby. If you're not into Dogecoin, which is a guaranteed go to the moon, never stop, never come down, you cannot lose money, you can't, woof, 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 woof. You will buy a golden Ferrari every single day for all your haters. That's how rich you'll be, because you won't even care about owning them. You'll give them a Ferrari. Then you'll get Doge. This is financial advice. Why is he talking like Tuah girl tweets? she does talk about Doge, huh? That's so odd. Why is the Tuah girl a crypto influencer? Where did that come from? Damn, is Tuah falling off? Wait, what? This is not in my America. Why do all the recent Tuah posts have like 2 likes? Oh no. I didn't realize she was getting on. She was the #4 podcast in America. That's crazy. Connor stopped giving her the bump. Dude, without Connor's influence, a lot of people would be... I actually sincerely believe that if Connor Eats Pants wasn't such a big supporter of Elon Musk, people wouldn't even know who Elon Musk is. I think Elon has truly been riding Connor Eats Pants' coattails for quite a while. For quite a while. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, we don't talk about it enough, but it's a big influence. Is Connor the reason Trump won? I won't say he's not. Connor is to celebs as Taylor is to economies. Facts. Hey, Big A, Big Trock, speaking of Connor, will you be voting for Connor Eats Pants x George Santos for best streamed collab? Your vote counts. We can't let Trump win another election. # we will steal this. How would Trump win this election? Trump is going to win best streamed collab? Is he in the running? Oh, Trump and Aiden? Oh, no. That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough because that was quite the collab. They did a TikTok dance. It's going to be quite tough to compete with. I don't know. Trump might 2 for 2. Can you imagine if he wins the U.S. election and the best stream collab election? It's going to be a tough year. Start to steal. I think Connor should stuff the ballot box, honestly.